This is the, let me just get the run sheet. Thank you, Aisha, for sending that to me. So I just want to welcome everybody to this meeting, and I'm going to make some comments about where we are and how we are and why we are shortly. I'm doing my best to look into the camera so that I'm looking at you all. I am told that if I look like this at the camera that you can see me, whether you wish to or not. Of course, you'll all be on, a lot of you won't be able to see us because we're all on mute, etc. But anyway, the first thing we need to do is I declare the meeting open, and we need to have the prayer. Aisha, have you got that available, please? There we go.
Can you see it on the screen? Yeah.
Thank you very much. Felicity, can we ask you to read the prayer, please?
Yes, Your Honour, Your Worship. We ask that through Council's discussions and decisions, the representatives we have elected may govern the Far North District with imagination, skill and wisdom to achieve a fairer and more united community that enhances the well-being of our district and solves the district's problems effectively and efficiently. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Felicity, for that. That's appreciate that. So welcome everybody, and I want to make some opening remarks because while this is an ordinary meeting, we are in extraordinary times, and even though there have been other events previously, such as SARS and such as the Christchurch earthquake and other issues, this is one that we are all involved in and that we will remember for the rest of our lives. It's a completely new set of circumstances for everybody who's involved. And so, as I say, well, this is an ordinary meeting. For those of us who are elected members and for those of us that are staff supporting the elected members, these are just unusual. And the fact that what is important for us is that as we move forward, the community are looking for our leadership. They're looking to know that we are working closely together. And I'm most grateful, thank you, each and every one of you, for the comments that you have been making and for the input you've been giving me in whatever forms. That's been very helpful. I want to make a number of comments, and I want to, first of all, just remind you that we're halfway through now level 4, and that our objective, of course, is to get to level 3, and of course following that level 2. One of the things I'm hopeful for is that we as a region may be one of those that the government allows us to step from level 4 to level 3 soon. But there's no absolutes on that. Just so you know, I'm in regular contact with various ministers the other day, and I'll tell you more about this. I had quite a long discussion with Nanaia Mahuta and officials in Wellington, and obviously a number of people. But I just want to start this presentation, and I'm sorry it's going to sound a bit like a presentation, but I want to set the environment in which we're going to have this meeting particularly, but it's the environment in which we're going to be having meetings as we move forward in this environment over the next while. And I just want to remind you of this because I had a read of this morning. And so when we finally get out of level 4, I'm sure there are those in the public who will assume that suddenly everything's okay and we're back to normal. normal as we know it is not going to be a part of our nation and a part of the world for many months, maybe many years, certainly some significant months. And I wanted to just remind you that level 3, if we go from level 4 to level 3, still means limited travel, particularly in areas where there are clusters of COVID-19 cases. This educational facilities will still be affected. Mass gatherings will be cancelled. This is level 3. Public venues closed, such as libraries, museums, cinemas, food courts, gyms, pools, amusement parks. Some non-essential businesses will still remain closed, and non-face-to-face primary care consultations, etc., will be affected. Level 3 means that travel in areas of community transmission are limited. I'll repeat some of this because it's in a different thing, but it's the same. Affected educational facilities closed, mass gatherings cancelled. So that likely means that our local pub, for example, may not be able to run. Public venues closed, alternative ways of working required, and some non-essential businesses closed, face-to-face primary care, and so it goes on. I just remind you of that I know there will be, and part of our leadership, folks, as leaders in our community, is to, when you are asked, you're aware of the fact that because we come out of level 4 that suddenly everything's okay. We are reminded, and I've been reminded, that actually the only time that the world will get safe is when a vaccine is developed and more than 80% of the people, the public worldwide, have access to it and have taken it. And so even if a level 3 or a level 2 happens in this nation, we will still have the disease amongst us, and we will still need to be taking care to make sure it's not spread. Because as soon as that starts, we then go back to level 3s and level 4s. And so it is most important that we all understand that, and it's behoven upon us as leaders in our community to understand and to make sure that our community understands. I just need to tell you that we have one staff member who has been found to have COVID-19. They're in isolation, and they are taking care, but before they found out, had gone and done a little bit of shopping, etc. So that's an issue for us. Top Energy have somebody who has been found to have COVID. Broad Spectrum have a staff member that has. And as you may have seen on the news, the New World in Kaikohe found that one of their staff was also affected. The point I'm making is that it is in our society, and it is in our community, and it's amongst us, folks. So we have to be aware, alert, and be careful. Stay safe, stay in your bubble, and even when it's lifted, there will be rules and regulations about how we communicate. I can tell you one thing for sure, that shaking hands and honging will not be part of our community and our civilization as we know it going forward for some serious time. So I want to now come to today's meeting and just say that this is going to be different for us. And again, I thank Will and the staff for the work that they've done on the papers that have been presented, and Aisha, thank you again for the run sheet. I want to just say to you as councillors and elected members, you're welcome obviously to have an input. That's why we're having this meeting. But I would like you to be short and succinct, because this is a first for us in the sense of a formal meeting. And I'd like to think that even though our standing orders say that the mover has up to 10 minutes and that speakers then are allowed up to 5, that we would try and limit our input to 3 minutes. So short and succinct. We will note, and Aisha has some system of letting, of being able to tell who wishes to speak, and she will inform me and I will call you. If all else fails, I'll take it in alphabetical order. But I will also, if you need to speak and for some reason can't attract attention, please text me. and we'll work that way as well. So that's an alternative to Aisha with the way in which she can help guide me on who needs to have an input. So that's where I want to have a discussion. That's the presentation I have to make in regard to how this meeting will run. Now, I also just go through the order paper. We have confirmation of previous minutes, which are usual. And then the second item we have up is a approval of financing options. I'm going to suggest that we just pause on that until we get into committee and have a discussion about where we are financially, and then we will come back to that item. I'm just going to change the order because I think we need to have a full in-committee discussion about where we are, where things are financially. I'll be able to inform you of advice from Minister of Local Government and other sectors, and give you some direction on where it is that we may be able to make decisions. But I just make the point again that whatever we do today on the basis of what we know today may well be different tomorrow and will likely be different in 2 weeks' time. So we need to take that into account as we have our discussions. As I say, I will give you an update on a whole lot of issues relating to rating particularly, but I also want to give you a high level statement once we're in committee on that. Just please remember, as we go through this meeting, please remain muted unless you're speaking. When you move or second a motion, can you please say your name so that the staff can record who it is. When we're voting, we will be voting by voice, so that by division, to ensure every vote is heard and understood. So again, what I'll be asking you to do is to vote in alphabetical order. Similarly with speaking, obviously you can indicate, and Aisha will be able to tell me, and that includes the 3 community board chairs. If you wish to make comment, please indicate that you do. A draft of the minutes will appear on the screen as we go through the meeting, so that if there's any issues, again, if you can let me know through Aisha, we can address anything that's not there. There is a chat window that does not form part of the recordings, and we can utilise that if you signal a desire to speak to items. And as I say, standing orders, I would like us to do our very best to keep our addresses, our motions, our comments short and succinct, so that we can make progress through this meeting. So that's all I have to say as far as the structure of the meeting goes. And so what I want to do now is go to the first item, which is the apologies, and there are none because we're all present. So the next thing then is the confirmation of the previous minutes, and Anne Court has indicated that there is a typo that we need to change. Aisha, do you? It's simple, that confirmation of the minutes meeting held on 22nd 20 as a true and correct record, subject to the word of in bullet point 5 under mayoral announcements be changed to from. So you can see the resolution there that Aisha's just added in. So I'm going to move that motion. Do I have a seconder, please?
Councillor Tippany will second that, Your Worship.
Kia ora. Thank you, Moko. Appreciate that. Are there any comments on the minutes other than the alteration? It won't come up during business. If not, I'll put the motion. Now, Aisha and Will and Aisha, Sean, you'll have to just help us through this. I'm going to say all in favour. Do we need now for councillors just to record their vote? If I do, can we ask, perhaps that's the best way so we know. So I'll record it as a yes. Anne Court?
Yes.
Councillor Vusic. Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. I'm going to do it in alphabetical order. Councillor Clendon.
Yes.
Councillor Collard.
Yes.
Councillor Foy.
Yes.
Councillor Radich.
Yep.
Councillor Smith.
Yes.
Councillor Stratford.
Yes.
Councillor Tepaneer.
Yes.
Councillor Vusic.
Yep.
Right, so that means that we've got a full yes, there are no opposed, so the minutes are confirmed. What I would like to do now is, as I say, I want to come back to item 6.1. I want us to go into public exclusion, and so I'm going to move.
I don't support that.
You want to? Well, we'll. Okay, I'm going to move that we do, and if there's objection, then we can. You want to have the financing options first, Kelly? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, I'd like to keep point, what is it? Lost number. Discussion of the financing options. I'd like to keep in public forum.
Absolutely. I'm not suggesting we don't. I'm suggesting we come back to it, though, is all I'm saying. When I want us to have a discussion in committee on the whole environment of finances, etc., and relay all the information that I have been given by ministers and officials, and then we'll come back in open meeting to item 6.1.
Okay, thank you.
So I would like to now move that we go into committee. I'll so move. Do I have a seconder, please?
I'll second. Thanks, John.
Yes.
Thank you, Councillor Court. Are there any objections? Do we, again, Sean, Aisha, Will, whoever's advising, do we need to take it by voice?
Aisha.
I think we do.
Yes, I think it's best that you do. On the run sheet, Your Worship, you'll see a note there that you should also, for the transparency of the public, record what discussion is taking place in the public excluded session and why.
Okay, so we'll do that. Basically, it'll be about as is listed. I'm not sure, but it's about primarily it's about rates, water rates, rent payments, etc. The options that we have financially in regard to the situation we now find ourselves in. So if we can just record that, Aisha, will that cover it sufficiently?
There was that addition to what's recorded on the agenda, that item 7.2, rates, water and rent payment options for COVID-19 level 4 shutdown, is also being excluded from the public.
Yep, that's what I say. If we can include all that in the motion.
Sure.
We can. So I'll just go through by alphabetic, starting with Anne, please.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship.
David Clendon.
Yes.
Councillor Collard.
Yes.
Councillor Foy.
No.
Okay. Councillor Radich.
Yes.
Councillor Smith.
Yes.
Councillor Stratford.
Can you just clarify what it's just the papers that were already in PX?
Correct.
Yep.
Yes. And
yes.
Thank you. Councillor Tepaneer.
Yes.
Councillor Vusic.
Yes.
Thank you. So the motion is carried. Is there any comment that any councillors wish to make, please?
On what?
I'd like to have
On
clarification.
6.1.
Jesus, John. Yep.
Dave here, I'd also like
We
to
haven't done the minutes yet, have we? For the
Yes, we've confirmed the minutes.
okay, fine.
Okay, so John Vusic wanted to comment, and then I think I heard David Clendon wanted to comment.
Yes, please.
John.
Yeah, so I have no problems with items I and 2, or 1 and 2. I have delegate any other actions necessary to secure funds for council to the CEO, given that we have a financial responsibility and given that it's pretty tricky times at the moment, which we need to be all involved with. is this then saying we'll leave it all up to the CEO?
So, Councillor
or
Vucic, do you want to move an amendment to take item 3 out?
Well, I wouldn't mind getting an explanation what it is. Otherwise, I would move amendment to strike it out.
Okay, can we have an item, please, Will, an explanation? Given that we can call a meeting pretty rapidly, is it essential that this be in there or not?
Jan, can you go on, Jan?
I'm just going to say, do you want me to answer that?
Yes, please.
No, with 2 weekly council meetings, I'm comfortable if 3 is deleted.
Okay, thank you. So, Councillor Vucic, will you move?
I'll move it.
Do I have a second?
And I'll second it, Dave Collard.
Thank you. Has anybody got any objection, anything? Otherwise, I'll go to the vote on that amendment. All right, Councillor Court.
Aye.
Councillor Clendon.
Yes.
Councillor Collard.
Aye.
Councillor Foy.
Yes.
Councillor Radich. You there, Maddie? Councillor Smith.
Yes.
Councillor Stratford.
Yes.
Councillor Tepanier.
Yes.
Councillor Vucic.
Yep.
And I support it. So that's carried. So now we go back to the original motion, which is items A, 1 and 2, being moved and seconded. Unless there's any comment, I will ask us to vote. Councillor Court.
Your Worship, Councillor Smith had a question.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Rachel?
No, apologies. I signalled that prior to Councillor Vucic bringing up the same thing.
Okay. Councillor Court has voted in favour. Councillor Clendon?
Aye.
Councillor Collard?
Yes.
Councillor Foy?
Yes.
Councillor Radich? Maddie seems to have disappeared off the scene. Councillor Smith?
Yes.
Councillor Stratford?
Yeah.
Councillor Tepanier?
Yes.
Councillor Vucic?
Yes.
And I'm in favour. So that's carried. Okay, that brings us to the end of the agenda. So we're an open meeting. Has anybody got anything specific and brief? Or will we consider the meeting concluded? Okay, we will consider the meeting
Your
concluded.
Worship, sorry.
Oh, yes.
I just wanted to reinforce again the importance of getting the comms around our rating relief decision today out as soon as possible, please.
Indeed, it's absolutely. I mean, obviously, we won't get anything today, but we will be working. Will and Janice. Is Richard in the room with us, or Ken? Do we have a media person?
Yes. Yes, I'm here. So we will be probably putting the media release out on Tuesday, and we're also working on the rates newsletter, which goes out on the 20th of April with the rates bills, and there'll be information in the newsletter about this as well.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think given that we've had 3 or half a dozen iterations, Richard and Ken, on trying to draft something early, I'm glad that we left it until now because we've got something positive to take out to our community. So as you heard earlier, Rachel and others commenting on the sentiment of Janice's paper. We're here to help. We've heard people, and this is the first cut, but if we find other things that we need to address, we will. That sort of thing. I'm sure you've gathered all that anyway, Richard.
Your Worship,
Okay.
it's Kelly Stratford.
Yes, Kelly.
Whilst Richard's there, I want to reiterate that not everybody will be in the mindset to open their rates bill, so we need to also communicate it via radio.
Yes, I made a note of your comment.
Cool. Thank you, Richard.
Your Worship, would you allow me to make a short statement? And that's really to thank yourself and councillors for your patience with this first virtual council meeting. And if there's any feedback you can give us in terms of how to improve these meetings, we'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Will. Do
John,
appreciate that. And
you there,
appreciate,
John?
Yes, hang on, Maddie. Yep. Appreciate very much all the input from everybody. It's been great. Matty?
Yeah, we just had someone come up our driveway. That's why I went missing. But I see I've abstained from this previous motion, increasing the floating ASB loan and all that stuff. I'm all
You
for
want?
it.
You're
Yeah.
for it? Okay.
Yeah,
Can
I'm
we
all
add
for
that in, please, Aisha?
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. It's okay. All right. Thank you all
Can
very
I
much.
just say something, please, John?
Yes.
It's Adele here. I'd just like to thank Will Taylor's team and mostly Damon Campbell for being so patient and setting me up on Teams. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I've got to say that I feel that this has actually we've done very well today. So thank you all very much for your patience and participation. And take care. Have the Easter off. Look after yourselves. Stay in your bubble. Don't travel. And we'll look to meet sometime early next week, because I think even if we have a maybe 2 or 3 get-togethers for an hour and a half during the week just to chat about stuff, I think it'll be hugely invaluable to us.
Can
So
the
thank
chairs,
you all.